Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are LA.
The Halos dropped the opening game of the series against the Oakland Athletics as this Athletics Angels Series sponsorship is presented by Chevrolet. 6-3 the final last night. The Angels still looking for that first home win. Tonight it is game 2 of a 4-game series. Hi, everybody, from inside the Big A. We welcome you back to Angels Baseball here on Fox Sports West, along with Mark Gubiza. I'm Victor Rojas. And last night, again, the offense non-existent. And as a matter of fact, through the first 13 games of this season, most of the runs have been derived because of the long ball. Aside from Mike Trout, nobody else really producing at the clip that the Angels need them to.
Yeah, Victor, so reliant on, you mentioned that, on the home run. Yeah, they're nice to be able to see, but you got to be able to manufacture some runs. But what they've done so far is, if we take a look at our AT&T U-verse rewind, when they get some pitches out over the plate, they have hit some home runs, especially when they've worked some counts, got into fastball, predictable counts. They've been able to hit the long ball, and that's how they've been able to score runs. Pujols and, of course, Trout. David Freese has hit some home runs himself, but you got to find other ways to score some runs. You got to manufacture. When you're playing against good pitching, they don't make many mistakes. 44% of the runs scored this year have been via the long ball. You got to bunt, you got to hit and run. This runs per game down quite a bit. And of course, we saw last year, they led baseball as far as runs scored. So you got to use the middle part of the field. You got to run a little bit more, even though they don't necessarily have a lot of guys that will steal bases. You create havoc against the defense when you have guys moving, but you have to get them on base first, and then the long ball is a little bit better. 2-3-run home run instead of solo shots.
Yeah, if you're consistent as far as situational hitting, the long ball kind of is icing on the cake. But so far for the Angels, a tough go. Hector Santiago on the hill for the Angels tonight. Drew Pomeranz on the hill for Oakland. A battle of lefties. As we're just about ready for baseball here at the Big A, sit back, relax. Lineups at first pitch when we return. Angels Baseball is brought to you by CarMax. Start the search for your next car at CarMax. Start here. And by Jack in the Box. Jack's hottest sandwich is back. Head to Jack in the Box for Jack's Blazing Chicken Sandwich. With an EPA estimate 31 highway miles per gallon. Visit Jeep.com for more information. And by Time Warner Cable. Enjoy better. Call 1-855-1-TWC. Halos and the A's getting ready for Game 2 of this 4-game series here at the Big A. Hector Santiago just a little bit tardy for Hector's standards. Usually in the dugout, usually ready to go, but he came in walking in for the bullpen a little bit late, probably a couple extra pitches. The pitching has not been necessarily the issue for the Angels, although Matt Shoemaker had a hiccup start yesterday as far as command was concerned. But as we talked about in the open, the offense needs to find some sort of consistency. You can't continue to lean on 27 to be the one and only guy in that lineup.
I think it's as simple as it sounds. Just use the middle of the field. You have a better chance of making contact, better chance of getting a base hit, and then you can do some things as far as hitting and running and having people move.
Halo's wearing that alternate red top. Pitcher's choice here at the Big A for Game 2. We'll take a look at Bob Melvin's starting lineup for the Oakland Athletics at 7-7 to start this season. Half game back in the American League West, led by the Houston Astros. Who would have knew? Yeah, who knew? Certainly not all the pundits. Craig Gentry will lead things off. He is in center field. Mark Canha is in left. Stephen Vogt at first base. Billy Butler, the DH. Cody Ross in right field. Brett Laurie at third base. Josh Phegley gets a start behind the plate. Marcus Semien, the shortstop. Eric Sogard batting ninth and playing second base. Check out Hector Santiago, 1-1 on the season and a 2.92 ERA, making his third start.
He's got great career numbers against Oakland. Also, 1-1 so far this year. Very solid ERA. 2-0 in his career in 5 starts with an ERA 0.91. But the keys for Hector tonight against his Oakland club. Walk the line. He puts the line right down the middle of the mound and make sure he lands in that area and mix it and match it. Change up, breaking ball. And this is what he does. He puts a line right there. He wants to be able to land right in that line, in the middle of it. Almost like you would see a guy bowling, making sure he stays right in that path, be able to be consistent with the release point. Not the same thing as a bowling ball, same thing for Hector as far as throwing the baseball in that lane consistently.
Check out the Angels defensively tonight. Colin Cowgill gets a start at left. Mike Trout at center. Cole Calhoun at right. The infield has David Freese, Eric Ibar, Johnny Giavatello, and Albert Pujols around from third to first, and Chris Iannetta behind the plate.
And Cowgill out in left field, especially with Santiago. Gets a lot of fly ball outs. 4th start in the left field, 26 of them last year with 1 error. Did have 4 outfield assists. Very good throwing arm, very aggressive coming in on the baseball.
Halos with the loss, now 5-8 on the year, and we mentioned winless at home, 0-4. And the first one tonight, the Gentry is in there for a strike. Gentry 0 for 18 to start the season. He got into the game late, did have a plate appearance. '94 games last season for Oakland. That pitch was up in the zone and fouled back, and it's 0-2. Very good speed. And a very good defender. There's Bob Melvin talking with his DH Billy Butler. Oakland team, as we touched on it last night, very, very good offensively this year. Very good on the pitching side as well. And Gentry goes down swinging on a high fastball, 1 down.
Well, we talked about Hector in his last game out against Texas. Got a lot of strikeouts when he got ahead of the count. Got ahead of the count there, 0-2, and challenged Gentry with a high fastball. And gets a swing and miss. Good velocity, good location, big first out. Especially for a guy with good numbers in his career versus the Angels. Gentry, 309 career hitter. It's Angel pitching.
Mark Canha, the left fielder, steps in. Mentioned this is Hector's 3rd start of the year. First one was against Kansas City. Took the loss here. That defeated Texas on tax day. 7 innings in that one. 1 ball, 1 strike. Canha with good numbers to start his rookie campaign. Home run and 7 runs batted in, .292 average. Had a 1 for 4 game last night with a single and 3 strikeouts. Foul tipped into the mitt. 1-2.
The big thing for Hector, what I saw from last game, even in this game, he's throwing what he wants to throw. You know, the catcher makes a suggestion. As a pitcher, you make the determination what you want to throw. And I saw last game for Hector, a lot of good off-speed pitches go along with that firm fastball.
Swing and a miss, and Hector Santiago fans the first two to start the ball game.
Another 1-2 count, 0-2 count first one, 2 punch outs. Shoulders square. That's the thing for Hector. When he delivers a baseball, you want his shoulders square as he goes through his delivery, landing right exactly where he wants to and finishing off his pitch.
The first one to Stephen Vogt is in there for a strike. Vogt, leading hitter for the Oakland A's, 366, 4 home runs, 12 RBIs, had a 3-run blast last night. Down and away. 1 for 3 game. Hector made 4 starts against the Oakland A's last year, went 1-0 and a .77 ERA. He had 19 strikeouts in 23 1/3 innings against the A's last year. Good off speed, 1-2.
Hey, shook to get to that changeup. Again, when you're on the mound, you throw what you're comfortable throwing. You can go over the scouting reports. When you're throwing the baseball, you know you have to have conviction of what pitch you want to throw.
Upstairs. Two strikeouts to start the ball game. 2-2 to Vogt. Just missed. Full count. Billy Butler on deck. Payoff all the way now. That is ripped foul into the seats just behind the A's dugout. Everyone's all right. See if Hector can exploit the Oakland A's, at least to start this season. Small sample size, but they've hit better against right-handed pitching than they have lefty. Almost 30 points better against right-handed pitching. They're hitting as a team .253 against lefties. 3-2 is in the dirt and he walked him. So the dreaded 2-out walk. That'll bring up Butler. Very dangerous hitter, and he's been red hot to start the year. He's now reached safely all 14 games that Oakland has played. They're going 2 for 3 last night with a single, double, and a walk. .365 batting average, a home run, and 7 runs batted in.
Good fastball at 91 inside corner. Butler's very good on any fastball out over the plate. He can hit the ball to both alleys. You got to try to keep it down and change speed, especially something away.
And that is skied foul down the left field line. 0-2.
So he's quick on fastballs upstairs. You have to be real careful. He will chase, but if it's out over the plate high, he's going to hit it well. An opportunity, another 0-2 count. He'll finish off a hitter for Hector.
That is line to left field, and that's a base hit. So walk and a single with 2 outs after striking out the first 2 batters. 2 on, and here comes Cody Ross.
It's always tough to explain why and figure out why. A 2-out walk, why that always seems to come back, and all of a sudden you look up, the opponent feels better. You get a hit or so after that.
I always say at 2 outs, focus through, get that 3rd out, especially when you got ahead of the count against Vogt. I think that pitch he threw way high got him out of sync for a bit.
A's signed Cody Ross after he became a free agent. He was released by the Diamondbacks on the 4th of April. He pulls one foul. And it's no balls and a strike.
One thing about Ross always has been, he is extremely quick inside. He's had some big hits in the postseason throughout his career. People trying to throw fastballs in on him.
2 for 11 so far with Oakland. Outside. And it's 1 ball, 1 strike. Mentioned the 2 out situation with Hector Santiago as this occurred here. Strikeouts of Gentry and Canha. Then a walk to Vogt and Butler with a base hit.
An 0-2 base hit.
This year, just 2 starts in now. He's given a batting average of .294 with 2 outs. That is pulled foul.
Again, that gets back to focus. You think you're through the inning when you're on the mound. You get those first 2 outs. You let down. Trying to get in there as quick as possible. Let your batters provide you some help right away. Score some runs for you.
He threw 7 pitches to get those 2 strikeouts. He's thrown 13 pitches since.
It's a big out, big pitch right here for Hector.
Got him. Swinging down goes Ross as Hector strikes out the side. We'll head to the bottom of the 1st. Calhoun, Trout, and Pujols coming up for the Angels. Bottom of the 1st inning, Hector Santiago, 3 strikeouts, a walk, and a hit. An interesting top of the 1st, but it works out. No score. And here's Mike Scioscia starting 9 for the Angels tonight. Cole Calhoun at right. Mike Trout at center. Albert Pujols at first. David Freese, the cleanup hitter tonight. He is at 3rd base. Eric Aybar, the shortstop. Colin Cowgill in left. C.J. Cron at DH. Chris Iannetta behind the plate. And Johnny Giavotella will bat 9th and play 2nd base as they take on the 26-year-old left-hander native of Collierville, Tennessee. His name is Drew Pomeranz.
Yeah, he's only had 1 walk in 12 innings pitched so far this year. Solid ERA, but fastball's firm, slider, curveball, and changeup. But the keys against Pomeranz, you have to. Fastball is your friend. He throws a lot of fastballs. Look out over the plate and get that pitch count up. He will throw a lot of pitches during the course of his start.
Cole lines with a center field leadoff single. And it'll bring up Trout.
The Hyundai key for this game today, and it's already going. Motley Crue, kickstart my heart. We talked about Mike Trout, what he has done. Now he has someone on base to do some damage. A good approach for Cole Calhoun, knowing he's going to get a lot of fastballs. He told me before the game he's looking fastball against Pomerantz. Got it. Mike Trout's got to do the same.
Pomerantz making his third start. See Trout's good start himself. 354 with 3 home runs, 9 RBIs. Trout with a .583 slugging percentage, a .407 on base percentage, and he takes ball 1. Add those up and you got your OPS. You're down with OPS?
Yes.
As opposed to OPP? You know me.
I do. Again, about 70% of his pitches are going to be fastballs. If you look at Pomerantz out of the stretch, real long delivery to the plate. Now, lefty's always more difficult to get a quick jump against, but if you go on first movement, you will be successful. Throughout his career, base stealers 21 of 24 against him.
Breaking ball for a strike, and it is 1-2. Trout yesterday picked up a single, ended up going 1 for 4, picked up a stolen base, scored 2 runs. Pomerantz's command has been pretty good so far this year through 2 starts, 11 Ks, 1 walk. Cole with a leadoff single at first. It's upstairs, 2-2. Pomerantz last year against the Angels, 4 games, 2 starts, a 1-1 record, 3.24 ERA. Limited to 20 games at the major league level last year. Spent some time on the DL. As he fractured his right wrist punching a chair after his start against the Texas Rangers.
It's the chair's fault.
Shouldn't have been there.
Down goes chair.
Trout fouls it back, went back upstairs to that high fastball.
A quick pitch too. Went a little slide step to throw off the timing of Trout. Remember that hit by Calhoun, the first hit for a lefty against Pomerantz so far this year.
Pujols on deck. Lays off.
That's a pretty good pitch. You're at the mercy of the umpire. That was wicked.
Yeah, I think Bob Melvin would have liked to have seen that called a strike.
A nasty curveball getting the bottom part of the strike zone.
Yeah.
So now if you're Trout, anything close to the zone, you're more likely going to be out there hacking.
If Cole takes off, they'll check in on him.
Pomerantz with 1 pickoff this year, 2 for his career. Again, if you guess right, you're going to be successful stealing the base against him. Go on first movement.
Cole doesn't go, and this one's fouled off, but back upstairs. Now, normally you think, a left-hander on, maybe you don't go, especially if Ike Davis is over at first base. Slick fielder, left-handed glove over there, get rid of the ball quickly. With Vogt, maybe you do take off on first movement.
It's a different throw for him as compared to being a catcher. And Trout is 1 for 6 against Pomerantz, but that 1 hit was a home run. I think you do go.
You got the right side of the infield open, and for Vogt as a right-handed fielder, you got to close up, fire to second. Hayes thinking that he might be going.
And he's got about an average move to first base. A little bigger lead this time for Cole, knowing he can get back.
Doesn't go, and that is ball 4. So the first, they rung it up. A late call.
Well, what we say was something close.
Wow.
It's a little bit off the inside corner.
And a delayed call at that. Marty Foster, the home plate umpire.
And it looked like it was off the inside corner. We thought because of that curveball getting the bottom part of the strike zone, anything close you might call, but doesn't necessarily mean you have to call that pitch borderline.
Perhaps a makeup call. As Albert pops it up on the first pitch. This one headed toward the seats. There's no balls of a strike.
Well, you can still see Albert's hips opening up. Even the home run he hit down in Houston, he still had opened up a bit, but strong enough to hit it out in Houston. Going fastball away. The hips are already open. He barely has that plate coverage. Bottom hand off the back because it's more difficult to make that good pass at a baseball when your hips are wide open.
Difficult to do that, especially they keep feeding you outside. That's down low. Albert just 1 for 12 against left-handed pitching this year.
Well, early on, Pomerantz has that curveball working. A lot of times, as a pitcher, it takes an inning or two to get a feel for that pitch, but he has that feel already. It's nasty.
And good enough velocity to pitch upstairs. So you're controlling both the north and south of the strike zone there, and that gives hitters a lot of trouble. But tell you what, Barry Zito, in his heyday when he was going really good, that's exactly what he did.
Yeah, because as a hitter, you're tracking the breaking ball and fastball both upstairs, and the curveball ends up starting it above the belt and it ends up in the dirt.
This one down the line goes foul. Barry had that big curveball. Almost started on the same plane as the fastball.
Yeah, exactly.
Straight down.
Both these pitchers are going to get a lot of fly ball outs. Both live upstairs with their fastballs. Both can strike out hitters with their high fastballs, but also can get swing and misses on their breaking pitches.
Cole still over at first. The 1-2 to Albert. Fouled it back.
Still going away with a fastball. And a better swing at that one, though.
Yeah, he had 3 very good swings last night. Ended up going 2 for 4 with a couple of singles and an RBI. One of the outs was a line out to a deep center field.
That is a sharp curveball. Not the traditional 12-6 break, more 11-5 break on this curveball. It's a firm, hard curveball.
Two balls and 2 strikes. 1 out, 1 on. Freeze on deck. Called strike 3.
Wow, again. It's off the plate again.
2 outs.
I think not only this pitch is off the inside corner, it's below the knees. Gets the call. That's 2. You can see Albert saying that ball is low and in.
Back-to-back strikeouts. David Freese will come up.
See that quick pitch again, slide step. Reason why you throw a slide step is two reasons: be quicker to the plate, not giving a base runner an opportunity to get a good jump, and to throw off the timing of a hitter.
Count evens up at 1 ball, 1 strike. Freese at .216 on the year. 3 home runs, 9 runs batted in.
Both pitchers with quite a few pitches in the first inning.
Two and 1. It's a 5th game for Freese in the cleanup spot. Statistically, he's hit better in this spot compared to the 5-hole. .313 average, 5 for 16 with all 3 of his home runs. There's a cleanup hitter. Three and 1. Eric Ibar on deck. No Matt Joyce. Left-hander on the mound, so Calgo getting a start at left. Crone at DH, batting in the 7th spot.
It's that count too for David Freese now. You're just looking in the zone. You got to think in terms you're the cleanup hitter. Do some damage to this baseball. You're in a great hitter's count.
3-1 now. Takes a fastball right down Broadway. Full count. Calhoun will take off on the pitch with 2 outs. Vogt will play behind him.
With that fastball right there, Victor, if I'm on the mound, I'm a lefty, I'd throw a curveball right now. Because that's a perfect spot. I thought that was
because of the location, right?
Exactly. I thought Freese could have jumped that pitch right there on the inner half.
Cole goes and Freese strikes out on a fastball. And Pomeranz returns the favors. He strikes out the side. 1 in the books for scoreless.
And we are tied at 0 here in the top of the 2nd. And coming up later in the game, we'll check out the big news from around the majors on the Carl's Jr. Sports Update. Quite a few teams in the National League are streaking. A lot of lefties on the hill tonight.
Brett Laurie looks at a strike. Well, there was a combined 6 strikeouts in the first inning. That took about 25 minutes.
And a lot of pitches.
Yeah. Good off-speed pitch.
I would go back to that same pitch.
Yeah, there's no rhyme or reason to show a fastball in.
Yeah, they'd like to try to go fastball up, but Brett Laurie can get to that fastball. Great spot.
So now if you wanted to, you could double up or go fastball in that location again.
And you can go backdoor breaking ball.
Right. Going back outside, the 1-2 is way upstairs. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Hector with 3 strikeouts, a walk, and a hit allowed in the first inning. Facing Laurie, Fegley, and Simeon here in the second for Oakland. Off speed, got him to reach. Still at 2-2. Brett Laurie at the plate. Major League Baseball, of course, announcing today that as far as the incidents with Oakland and Kansas City handled, at least according to Major League Baseball, was punishment. I'll tell you that in a second. This one's grounded to the left side. Freeze has it. First out. Giordano Ventura, who initially hit Laurie, got a fine. And
Herrera got suspended for 5 games. He is appealing. I think more so he threw behind Brett Laurie and some of the actions after he was walking off the field, pointing at his head and all that. I think that's the reason why the suspension was even more so than Ventura.
I don't think it's going to go anytime soon, because apparently Brett was quoted earlier today talking about the whole situation and Royals fans. So it's certainly a nice little brouhaha between those 2 teams. They'll meet one more time at the Coliseum.
And that'll be real interesting.
Yeah.
In Oakland. It get loud up there at the Coliseum.
A's fans do not forget.
No.
I mean, C.J. Wilson still gets booed, and that was just for comments that he was making
Exactly.
going into his walk year when he was a member of the Texas Rangers, talking about the Coliseum and the mound.
Yeah, they're pretty passionate up there.
This one's fouled back, and 0-2 count.
Ray Fosse would have made that play.
You know, the thing about Ray, if a foul ball comes up there, he's not catching it. He's just blocking with his chest.
Squaring the shoulders up.
Yeah, absolutely.
There he is.
He is.
There he is, the man.
He'll pull a Happy Gilmore in the batting cage.
Yes.
He's taken right in the chest. This one pulled to left field. Pitch that was up on an 0-2 count, so Fegley is on board with a 1-out single.
Second 0-2 hit. And Hector's given up a 0-2 home run last night to Stephen Vogt on a split finger fastball from Matt Shoemaker that stayed out over the plate. And I'm all for going after the hitter 0-2, but you want to go to that outer part of the plate. Hitters are protecting on the inner half. They're just trying to make contact. Away, it's more difficult to square up a baseball.
Marcus Semien, the shortstop, takes up and away. Semien homered last night, batting in the 9th spot, went 1 for 4. It was his 2nd home run of the year. Picked up in an offseason deal with the White Sox. Fegley was also a part of that deal. 2-0. Semien hitting .250. 3 doubles, 2 home runs, and 9 runs batted in.
Pitching backwards, good changeup. Fastball count, young hitter, looking fastball. Way out in front, could not make contact. If he does, more likely that's a ground ball and an infielder potential double play.
We've talked about it so much that the key to an off-speed pitch is making sure you stay balanced, and that's a perfect example right there. Now, if he could do the exact same thing on a fastball to be a little bit more consistent, as that pitch misses down and in. 3-1 now.
And that's exactly why we talked about that lane he puts on the mound to make sure he lands in that lane. Because if he's flying quickly, he's going to pull across his body with his throwing arm. And that's when you're seeing pitches consistently out of the strike zone.
And a walk. Second one issued. So second straight inning that Hector will deal with a couple of base runners. Sogard coming to the plate.
And right there, he's got pretty good balance, but then he gets quick. And that's the thing. That front shoulder, he's dipping it down. We talked about squared shoulders. He's lost focus with his eyes on the target and pulling across his body with his throwing motion. You want your arm to be able to read out front of your front leg, not across your body.
Sogard, 241 batting average. Couple of doubles, 2 runs batted in.
When you're Calgill, you got to be ready for something your way.
Playing shallow and toward the foul line and left. That's pulled down the first base line, foul. Mike Malinsky, the first base umpire, with the quick call.
I was supposed to be outside. Inside, and he pulls that one just foul.
Two balls and a strike.
My social's wondering where that pitch was compared to what we saw in the bottom of the first inning against Trout and Pujols.
Marty Foster looking toward the Angels dugout after Mike yelled out. Two on pitch, 3-1. Hector in his second season with the Angels. 30 games last year, 24 starts. 6-9 with a 3.75 ERA. Already at 40 pitches, 25 strikes, 15 balls. He's walked 2, allowed 2 hits, struck out 3. 3-1 now.
That was borderline. Up and in fastball, just off the upper part of the strike zone according to our Fox tracks.
It's a pickup. 3-2 to Sogard. Out to Calgill. Ibar's going out, but Collin calls him off. 2 down. Hey folks, the Halos will host the Texas Rangers on Friday at 7:05, and fans in attendance will receive an MVP blanket courtesy of Yokohama Tire while supplies last. Purchase your tickets today by visiting the Angel Stadium ticket office or online at angels.com. Chili and the beanie
came in handy.
Yeah,
it was cool all day. Little rain chances. Little rain up in my neck of the woods.
It's like June gloom.
Yeah,
in April. Top of the order, Craig Gentry, strikeout victim in the first. Pulls this one down the line, foul, just wide of the bag.
His great career numbers, not only with the bat, but also his ability to steal bases. So you got to keep him off the bases. Big opportunity for Santiago to keep it 0-0. You got a guy right now, but even though he's got the good career numbers, hasn't got a lot of at bats yet. So the timing may be off.
0-2 count. Got a beach ball out on the warning track and right. Oh, 2 count. Upstairs. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Beckley with a base hit to left field, stands at second. Simeon with a walkover at first. Coming up will be the 25th pitch of this inning. Called strike 3. Down goes Gentry. And the inning comes to an end. We'll head to the bottom of the second with no score. Steelers. The bottom of the second. Yeah, we've finally arrived to the bottom of the second inning. Halos will have Ibar, Cowgill, and Crone coming up here. A lot of pitches thrown by both starters. Drew Pomeranz gave up a leadoff single to Cole Calhoun on his very first pitch, then struck out Trout and Pujols, as well as Freese.
Not a bad time for Ibar to push a bunt down the first baseline. You got a lefty that will more than likely fall over towards third base side of the mound, and a catcher playing first.
Eric hitting 200 with a double and 2 runs batted in. Fouls this one off to the right. Eric on board 3 times last night with 2 walks and a double. That's the reach on an error.
And the trend we're starting to see a little bit more in baseball. A starter pitching from the stretch even with no one on.
Thought about it. Lowry was playing back as well at third. Here's that breaking ball. 1-2.
He's throwing some really good curveballs early on.
Pomeranz, highly touted out of high school in Tennessee. Was drafted by Texas, did not sign. Went to University of Mississippi instead. This is line to center. It's a 2-strike base hit for Eric Ibar.
High fastball, went with it, used the middle of the field. That's the key. Every conversation you have with Don Baylor, Dave Hansen, Paul Sorrento, what's he want to see from the hitters? Use the middle of the field. That allows you as a hitter to be comfortable, to be able to have both sides of the plate covered. Now, if you're pulling everything, then you're looking only on the inner part of the plate. You're susceptible to something away.
Cowgill showing bunt. It's 1-0. .192 average for Cowgill with a home run. 2 runs batted in. That's on the corner.
Changeup. He hasn't thrown many changeups so far. Well, you would think Calgill, this would be a good matchup against Pomerantz. He's 1 for 5 in his career. But Pomerantz, there's a lot of fastballs that are up. Calgill can jump on a fastball, belt high, do some damage.
Big lead for Ibar at first base. This is popped up. First base side, Vogt. 1 out.
Take a look at with our Fox vision how big the break this curveball is for Pomerantz. It starts above the strike zone, then drops below the strike zone. The tilt he has on that 11-5 break on his curveball is outstanding.
At location, key with that breaking ball.
And you're not breaking that all the way in the middle part of the plate. It starts off the plate, so as a hitter, you think it's a ball. Then it wraps around and gets that outside corner, but down also.
C.J. Cron, the Angels DH at the plate. C.J. 0 for 3 last night with a walk. 129 batting average, playing in his 10th game. He's 4 for 31. Home run and 3 RBIs. Ibar's 0 for 1 in the stolen base category. For the most part, he has stayed away on the righties and then just shown one in. A couple of times it's been with the 2 strikes. Trout, Pujols, breaking ball. And then Freeze with that fastball, tied him up with that fastball in. That was for the strikeout to end the first.
See, a lot of times pitchers start early in and then go away late. He's starting away early and then finishing in late. So we're going against the norm.
And those are the things as hitters that you see that happening in the first inning, right? The guys are talking about it in the dugout, so you come back out thinking, all right, I'm going to start looking away. And sometimes they'll change it right up in the second inning, start pitching in and then work away. See if guys, kind of keep guys off balance.
But if you're throwing strikes, though, that's what makes everything so much better. As a pitcher,
strikes are good for pitchers.
They are, but strikes early, but then expand the zone late is how you are successful in the big leagues.
Conversation here with Fegley, Vogt, and Pomerantz. And when you've got a strike zone tonight, that seems like Marty Foster is going to be calling the close ones. You better be ready to swing the bat, especially with 2 strikes.
No question. You wonder if that conversation's on the count, 2-1 count with 1 out, hit and run, but you don't generally put a hit and run on with a left-handed pitcher.
Two 1 pitch. There's a breaking ball, 2-2. Chris Inetta on deck. Halos twice have had a leadoff single. Calhoun remained at first. Ibar still at first. Bounced over to third. Lowry goes to second base for 1. The relay back to first. In time, a double play, and Mike Scioscia is going to come out and will keep the A's on the field as they will take a look at it. At least the Angels will take a look at it downstairs.
Tell you what, that was a great turn. I didn't think they had a chance. And a foot's on. Oh, it's real close.
They are going to check it. So Mike Winters, the crew chief at second base, and Mike Malinsky, the first base umpire.
Oh, that's going to be extremely close.
And the call in the field is out.
And that's been the conversation. Is there enough evidence to overturn the call?
A lot of times you see a third base on a ball like that where they've got to come in. They just say, all right, I'll just go across the diamond. We'll give you the second out, man in scoring position. Take your chances. But that's not an easy throw.
No, that had some fuzz on that throw too. And Sogar did a great job of turning that double play also, especially with Ibar running at him. And if Mike Scioscia doesn't get this overturned, he has lost his ability to check replay again until that 7th inning. Now the foot's on as the baseball secure in the glove at that point.
Now if you're looking at the webbing of the glove, watch the ball hit it right there. Foot seems to be on there. But, you know, what we've seen the first couple of times,
safe.
You never know. They overturn the call.
And the reason why you're going to challenge is because this year you can have a number of challenges if you're right on the first one. A lot of times you only before, I should say, it was only that one challenge, and you only have one more the rest of the game.
So Crone on board on the fielder's choice. 2 outs now. And Chris Iannetta. Chris 4 for 37. That's a 108 average. 1 double. Chops this one toward the middle. That'll sneak through for a base hit. Crone will stay at second. All 3 singles for the Angels have been up the middle.
That's how you get your swing going. Better plate coverage when you use the whole field.
Johnny Giavotella at the plate. We'll look at that pitch downstairs, and it's ball 1. Giavotella hitting .289, a couple of doubles, 3 runs batted in. The Angels, of course, with situational hitting, has been an issue. Going back and including the entire Houston Astros series, Halos 3 for the last 27 with men in scoring position. Remember, they had that Wednesday game against Texas where they scored 10 runs. They were 6 for 17 in that ball game. Collectively, it's a 193 batting average on the season. Giavotella fouls it off to the right.
Pomeranz has good life on his fastball late in the strike zone. And it's not upper 90s. 90, 92 range, maybe 93. It's that quick life at the end by the strike zone. Makes it difficult to square up the baseball as a hitter.
Just the bottom of the second with no score. Breaking ball, but high. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Think about one of the keys against Pomeranz to get the pitch count up. Well, that's certainly the case so far. Already 38 pitches thrown.
We saw this last night with both Graveman and Shoemaker. Kind of throwing a lot of pitches early on. Neither guy lasted 4 innings. one saving grace if you want to look at the bullpen for Oakland. Dan Otero more than likely is not available. Thankfully, 4 innings of shutout baseball in relief, picking up the win last night. He has yet to allow a run in his career against the Angels. Just over 19 innings.
I asked Cole Calhoun about him. He said he just didn't see the ball well out of his hand. Good changeup to go along with that good sinker, everything at the knees, but didn't track the ball well against him.
2 balls and 1 strike with 2 outs. Chopper foul, and it's 2-2. Yeah, not overpowering. We're talking about Otero now. Not overpowering. Good movement. Moves the ball both in and out. Does a nice job. Two rolls it foul. DeSarcina has it.
Good hands.
Better be alive down there. He's down the line. Back almost near the warning track.
There's pretty good arms in the outfield. For Oakland, don't have Reddick out there today, but still some pretty good arms.
They're playing shallow as well with Giavotella at the plate. Full count.
This will help.
Yeah, running start now. Corona Iannetta will be on the move here. 3-2. Giavotella gets into one to left. Canna moving back at the wall. That is gone. Big fly for Johnny on the spot. Johnny Giavotella's first of the season. 3-0 Angels.
The smile, the energy. Giavotella didn't take long to get around. And the smiles in that dugout. Talking about jumping on a high fastball. Giavotella way out the left center field. First home run as an Angel. Boy, was that huge.
How big is that challenge now by Mike Scioscia at first base?
Exactly. Everyone at home thinking, well, why are you challenging it? It was 2 outs. TJ Cronin at first. That's why when you're struggling to score, you have to take every chance possible. High fastball over the plate. Pomerantz knows it. It's a courtesy look. Doesn't bring it back.
1-0 to Cole. Oh, right through the 5-hole. 2 balls, no strikes.
Good hockey reference.
Cole, 1 for 1 with a single to center. That is ripped to right field, a base hit. Ross over to cut it off, does so, and Cole stops. His second hit of the night. Will bring up Trout.
Oh, 2 hits for Calhoun against Pomerantz. Mentioned earlier, no hits against the lefty this year. Giavotella all over that high fastball. Deep and high and gone. Some production at the bottom of the order. Chris Iannetta, a base hit before the 3-run home run by Giavotella.
Trout struck out looking in the first. 1-0. This inning, at least according to the first base umpire Mike Malinsky, over on a double play ball hit by Crone, but CJ got to the bag. The call was overturned. Inetta promptly singled right after that, and then Giavitello on a 3-2 pitch. A 3-run blast. One-0 off the plate. 2 balls and no strikes.
Boy, finally some smiles in that dugout. Talked about in the opening, a large percentage of the runs scored with a home run. That's okay. You got 2 guys on base when you squared up that ball to hit it out for a home run.
Well, with a breaking ball or off speed pitch there. 3-0. Albert on deck.
You don't see Trout swing often. 3-0. Pomerantz throws a lot of fastballs. This might be the time for Trout to attack a fastball.
And there's ball 4. First walk issued by Pomerantz. Go back and take a look at that Giavitello swing off of Pomerantz.
You see how excited he is to do that type of damage, knowing that the offense has to get rolling. Number 9 hitter, Giavitello, 3-run home run.
Albert 0 for 1, struck out looking in the first himself. Next pitch will be the 50th thrown by Pomerantz in the game. And now kind of lost that command. Mentioned he only walked 1 guy in his first 2 starts. Walked 1 here.
50 pitches, 28 strikes, 22 out of the strike zone. And what a challenge. Again, we just talked about a little bit ago by Mike Social on that potential inning double play with CJ Crone.
Albert gets into 1. Down the line. This one is foul. Just out in front. Mark Wegner with the call, the third base umpire. Halos looking for their second 3-run blast of the inning.
Went down the heart of the plate. Trying to keep it fair, Pujols was. And just foul.
Evens up the count at 1-1. Calhoun at second, Trout at first. 2 down. Staying away from Albert, 1-2.
Yeah, that was a wise decision by Pomerantz to stay away. Albert was all over that fastball inside.
30 pitches thrown by Pomerantz here in the second. Both starters have thrown a lot of pitches in the first 2 innings.
Check those 2 keys against them. Fastball is your friend. Giavitello liked the fastball. And pitch count up. Certainly up now for Pomerantz.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Albert, the 8th man to bat here, the second. Full count. With the base runners on the move once again.
Some real good speed on the bases also. 4 full counts in this game for Pomeranz, and we're in the second inning.
Runners go. 3-2's foul back. So we'll reset and do it again. Outfield straight around for Oakland. Another payoff on the way. Pujols fouls it off to the right. This one behind the Oakland A's dugout. Three-two again. Albert off the end of the bat, fouls it off.
Chased the pitch out of the strike zone, though. Pujols did. Also remembers his last time up. We got called out on a fastball that was down and off the plate. That forces you as a hitter to expand your zone.
Albert lines one to short. Off the glove of Simeon. Calhoun keeps on running. Trout ends up at third. 4-0 Angels.
Certainly well hit by Pujols. Three-two count. Line drive. Simeon unable to catch that ball. Bit of hook on that swing. But still a play that, well, you're going to see Simeon make that play on it. But off the end of the glove.
Simeon gets charged with an error on that. His 5th of the season. So no RBI for Pujols.
But still hit well. And a top hand spin on it.
Freeze, skies with the left. It's playable for Canna. And that'll do it for the Angels. They bat around here. They score 4 times. And it started off the bat of Johnny Giavitello.
He got a high fastball and a 3-2 count. No doubter. Excitement at the Big A with a 3-run home run by Giavitello.
Johnny Giavatello's first home run as an Angel. 3-run shot. Drew Pomeranz, 59 total pitches. Hector Santiago's had his issues as well. 46 pitches through 2. He'll face 2, 3, and 4. Canna, Vogt, and Butler. First one's in for a strike.
I mean, Hector, because of the pitch clock in between innings, you can throw as many pitches as you would like, as long as you get that last one in there by that 32nd. That's the big thing. It helps out a pitcher with a long inning.
Canna gets it a 1 out to left center field. Mike Trout moving to his right is there. 1 down.
It used to be at 8 pitches. They always say you try to squeeze an extra pitch or 2 out just to get back to a feel on the mound, especially at a long half inning. If you get out there quick enough, you can get in 11 or 12 pitches before the batter steps in the batter's box.
Stephen Vogt, the first baseman tonight, walked in the first. One of 2 free passes issued by Hector. Santiago struck out 4 and allowed 2 hits. Vogt will look at a strike. Oh, 2.
It's 5-0-2 counts so far for Hector.
This one's out to center. 2 down. Let's take a look at our Honda upcoming schedule. The Angels on this homestand have 2 more against Oakland, with tomorrow's game being on My 13, KCOP My 13. Thursday's game being a 4 o'clock start. Angels Live will kick off at 3:30, and then the Rangers roll into town for 2 night games on Friday and Saturday, and then a day game 12:35 starts Sunday afternoon. And it's up to the Bay Area for a week. Butler takes inside for ball 1.
Weave on the hill tomorrow. Real good pitching matchup tomorrow. Sonny Gray, Jared Weaver. Lee's been real good against Oakland of late. 13-9 in his career with an ERA under 3 for Weaver.
The Angels will not leave the state of California until mid-May. We've got the remainder of this homestand. They go up to the Bay Area for a week. 3 against Oakland, 3 against the Giants, then come home to play Seattle, Houston, Colorado. That takes you to May 13th. And they'll start a long East Coast trip on the 15th of May.
Good chance we'll see Madison Bumgarner in a 3-game series up in San Francisco also.
Butler out to left center field. Calgill moving back. Still going back as is Trout. And that is gone. Billy Butler, a 2-out home run on a 3-1 pitch, and Oakland gets on the board. It's 4-1 Angels.
In that bugaboo, 2 outs. Slight letdown, fall behind in the count. Got to challenge Butler. He's not missing anything so far this year wearing that gold and green uni. You talk about squaring up a baseball in a spot where you could do some damage, and that's what Butler had. Look at that, his arms extended.
That snaps a string of homerless games for the Oakland Athletics against a left-handed pitcher. They've been homerless in the last 331 at-bats against left-handers coming into tonight. Hadn't homered against one, obviously, this year. One of 3 teams that hadn't done that in Major League Baseball. But there's Butler picking up his second. Two balls, 1 strike on Ross, who struck out in the first. Ross gets one out to Calgill in left field. That'll do it. Oakland gets on the board courtesy of Butler's second home run of the season. One to the bottom of the 3rd, 4-1 Angels. Force acknowledges the passing of longtime Fox NASCAR broadcaster Steve Burns after a lengthy battle with cancer. A symbol of strength, compassion, and dignity, Steve, 56, was a source of inspiration to everyone. A shining example of husband, father, friend, consummate professional, Steve Burns will forever be remembered as one of the good guys. His time with us cherished and appreciated. Burns is survived by his wife of 22 years, Karen, and their 12-year-old son, Bryson, of Fort Mill, South Carolina.
He was loved by so many.
Canna makes the catch on the Eric Ibar drive, and there's the first down to start the third.
Canna went a long way to make that play. He was almost in center field.
Almost like he had a little bit of a stutter step there, thinking that Gentry was going to take it.
Gentry was wise to get out of the way.
Oh, 1 count on Colin, who popped out in foul territory in the second. Off-speed pitch. Pomeranz with 3 strikeouts, all 3 coming in the first inning. 1 walk and 5 hits allowed. It's 1-2. TJ Crone on deck circle. Calgill goes down swinging as Begley throws down the first to complete the strikeout. 2 outs. Fourth strikeout of the night. Brings up Crone. Reach on the fielder's choice and a big overturned call on the replay. Opened up the inning for the Angels in the second. Shoots this one out to right field, and there's a 2-out base hit.
That's the kind of swing we saw the entire spring from C.J. Crone.
Cody Ross looking for the Little League put out at first base.
Was hit so hard
Yeah.
right at him. He had 9 outfield assists back in 2012.
Vogt was nowhere near the bag, however. He thought about it.
Again, back to that check of that replay. It's a pretty gutsy call by Soch. Turned out to be the right call in a big inning.
Crone on board with 2 outs. Here Chris Iannetta, who singled his first time up. The 1-0 downstairs. 2 balls and no strikes.
Still pulled off on that fastball away. Surprising any pitcher would even try to show something to Chris at this point anywhere near on the inner half of the plate. Having a tough time covering the outside part.
Two 1. Strike.
Away again.
Chris asking Marty Foster for location, but we had it as a strike on Fox Tracks. is low. And a full count. This 5th full count for Drew Pomeranz. Crone will be off with the pitch.
Boy, a lot of pitches thrown. Bob Melvin's going to have to go to the bullpen a lot earlier than expected.
Rip it a fastball by Chris. Giavatello's on deck. '72nd pitch of the night. This is a chopper to second. Eric Sogard has it. And we're done through 3. 4-1 Angels.
Santiago, when he's ahead of the count, making quality finishing pitches. Fastball up, swing and miss. Fastball inner half. Perfect location. Great breaking ball, getting the lower part of the strike zone to get another swing and miss. And then a sharp breaking ball. Gets the punch out looking for in the game for Hector, getting ahead of the count and then making a quality pitch to finish off a hitter.
But Laurie fouls off the first pitch fastball. Laurie, Fegley, Simeon for Oakland here in the 4th. 3 hits for Oakland, 6 for the Angels. Hector with 4 strikeouts, 2 walks. Gave up the home run to Butler with 2 outs in the 3rd. That evens the count at 1 ball, 1 strike. Fastball in. He's third baseman 0 for 1 as he grounded out to third. His first time up. Down it. Got a piece of that off-speed pitch. It's 2-2. He started all 15 games for Oakland this year. Part of the big Josh Donaldson trade in the offseason. Upstairs, full count. Just one of any number of moves throughout Major League Baseball. Big moves throughout Major League Baseball this offseason.
Incredible.
3-2. Swing and a miss. Down he goes, and there's out number one.
Good fastball once again from Hector. 92. Upper part of the strike zone. Shoulders square. Head still. Finish off a pitch. And a swing and miss. Hector knew we were just talking about his strikeout, so he had to add on.
Good off-speed pitch for a strike. Josh Phegley, the catcher, singled in the second inning. 1 for 1. '27-year-old fouls this one back.
Jose Mota had his glove ready.
Well, he jammed him. High ball. Throws to first. Phegley retired. 2 down. Hey, folks, this season the Angels want to give fans exclusive experiences here at Angel Stadium. All Access Angels gives fans a chance to bid on great experiences like Steel Third, honorary bat kit, and dining with the general manager. For more info and to bid on these experiences, visit angels.com/access.
Another 0-2 count and a quality pitch on an 0-2 count for Hector. Here we are in that 2-out situation now. This is the time where Hector has to finish off the inning.
One ball, one strike on Marcus Semien. Drew a walk in the second. Foul tip, just got a piece of it off the bat into the mitt.
That's a nice cut fastball.
Hector's yet to record a 1-2-3 inning. Into the dugout.
So you're saying he's due?
Yeah. It is the third time tonight that he's retired the first 2 batters who started inning, and there it is. Until now.
Ask and you shall receive. Fastball,
That's what it takes.
Paints on the inside corner. See ya.
4-1 Halos. Angels Baseball is brought to you by Infinity. Luxury cars that deliver inspired performance. The old Budweiser Terrace up in the right field corner pavilion area.
Well, yeah, we maybe do a game from up there one time.
One. Let's do like a whole series out there.
There you go.
A whole homestand. I don't know if we might have the whole homestand.
No.
Yeah. Might have to have the backups ready.
There you go.
Down goes Gubaza.
That's a long ways away. Great view, though.
Yeah. 9-1-2 for the Angels here in the fourth. 4-1 Halos. Johnny Giavotella at the plate. Chops this one to the left side. Brett Laurie. Off balance throw. Giavotella retired for the first out.
Thinking about Brett Laurie, he's very aggressive going after anything hit anywhere near him. Good play once again. Well, he made an amazing play on that one hopper the Trout hit last night.
Yeah, that ball was smoked. Cole 2 for 2 with a couple of singles. A run scored. Pomeranz, 4 strikeouts, 1 walk, 6 hits allowed. It's 2-0. 75 pitches thrown by the big lefty. Popped up with Laurie, third baseman. 2 down. So the bases are clear with 2 outs, and here comes Mike Trout. Both starters have settled down after a long first 2 innings. A lot of pitches thrown. Mentioned 105 combined pitches through 2 innings for these 2 starters. Trout will look at a strike. Punch out and a walk for Mike. So he's 0 for 1.
Giavotella with that big swing on that high fastball, 3-run home run. Mike Scioscia was asked a lot before the game in the dugout from the press about the offense. He said he just needs somebody just to have that one good at bat to get it rolling. Well, Giavotella with a 3-run home run, but a number of those hits prior to that, base hits up the middle. Using that big part of the field and finally getting a mistake and capitalizing. That being said, it's time to add on, though. This Oakland offense has been on fire this year.
Yeah, they're not going to go anywhere. Not going to go away. That's how it's been for the last couple of seasons between these 2 teams. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, pitchers continue to try to get Trout to chase the high fastball. He's done a real good job early on in this season of not chasing that pitch.
Two. Up and away, full count. Pujols on deck. The payoff. He struck him out on the outside corner. Pomeranz returns the favor as the Angels go down in order. Still on top, however, 4-1.
Talk about a close series between these two rivals since 2002. 250 games played, split right down the middle, 125 games apiece. Runs scored, very close. Hits, very close. Home runs, extremely close. Combined to win 11 of the last 13 AL West titles. And a majority of those games are 2 runs or less, two or one. So close these games, the rivals. 124 of the 250 have been decided by 2 or 1 run. Amazing how close this series has been since 2002.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Sogard. They've played some long games as well.
Oh yeah. Up in Oakland, 19-inning affair. What was it, 6 hours and 23 minutes?
Something to that effect.
And 15 seconds?
The 3 guys got hurt. Borges, Coco Crisp.
Yeah, it was
Chris Young.
It was really comfortable for the players.
Two. Called strike 3. Down goes Sogard. 1 away. 7th strikeout for Hector.
Great spot once again. Shoulders level. Staying in that line, that lane he has. Hitting the spot on the outside corner. That's another pitch he's had a good feel for today. A slow curveball, able to get ahead of the count and mix it in there along with his fastball and his slider, cutter. Good changeup. 7 punch outs and 4 1/3 so far.
Gentry getting the start tonight in center field. 0 for 2 strikeouts. No Ben Zobrist the first 2 games of this series. Dealing with a sore knee. Two balls and 2 strikes. Today's team revamping its roster in the offseason. Really being always retooling that franchise. That's a called strike 3. Down goes Gentry, 2 away.
Painting another fastball again. Good velocity, under control in his delivery.
Gentry now 0 for 21 to start the season.
Great spot. Perfect spot. Punch out. 8 now in the game for Hector. His career high is 10. Did that back in 2012 when he was with the White Sox versus Cleveland.
This matches his strikeout high as an Angel. Did that twice last year, once against Texas and once against Oakland right here. It was in June of last year against the Athletics. Two balls and no strikes.
It's that dreaded 2 outs, 2-0.
Retired 6 straight since the Butler home run. 3 balls and no strikes. Both Santiago and Iannetta looking down to the first base umpire, but Marty Foster never asked for help. Don't have to as the home plate umpire in a check swing. And a 4-pitch walk after retiring the first 2, and now Stephen Vogt coming up.
See Hector shaking his head. He knew he made a mistake there, falling behind and eventually walking. Cano with 2 outs after 2 strikeouts, looking to start the inning.
There's a strike. If you wondered why we bring that up, I mean, it's been the Achilles heel, if you want to call it that. Maybe that's a little too harsh for Hector Santiago's closing out an inning. And this year, including tonight, 2 outs, hitters 7 for 21 against Hector with 4 walks with 2 outs. That ball in the dirt. Canha thought about going, and a snap throw to first. He's able to get the hand back in there.
He started drifting, think he was going to be able to go initially, and then stops and goes back. Gets his hand back in before the tag is applied.
Vogt chops this one to Pujols, and that is inning over. No runs, no hits, 1 left on. We'll head to the bottom of the 5th. Pujols, Freese, and Ibar coming up with the Angels up 4-1. transmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Los Angeles Angels. Albert Pujols leading things off for the Angels. Bottom of the 5th. He will look at a strike. Albert is 0 for 2. Struck out looking in the first and reached on the error by Simeon in the second that brought in the Angels' 4th run. Simeon's 5th error of the season. Chopper foul. Oakland leads the American League in errors committed this year, now with 13. Pomeranz coming off a 1-2-3-4. Chopper toward the middle. Simeon to his left. Has it. Throws to first. Albert retired for the first out.
It's a real nice play by Simeon. He realized he can get himself in a better throwing position and stop and then throw. You know, it was a higher throw than he would have liked. A lot of times you'll see a shortstop throw that on the move. He had time to gather himself in a strong throw.
Freese 0 for 2. Struck out in the first inning. Fly ball to left in the second. Fouled off to the right. 1 ball, 1 strike. A couple of games that are still going on. Major League Baseball. Seattle leading Houston 3-1. That game's in the 6th inning. It's Taijuan Walker going for the Mariners.
He is really struggling.
Yeah.
After having an unbelievable spring training.
Iwakuma's had a couple of shaky starts. Paxton had a bad start the last time out.
Their bullpen has struggled.
Freese shoots one down the line, and that is a fair ball into the corner. Ross plays it cleanly, gets it back in. It's a 1-out double for David Freese, and that is his 2nd of the season.
Just went with the pitch, going the other way, hit it well to right field.
Up steps Eric Ibar.
It's a real good swing from Freese. Keeping his hands back. He's got the knuckle curve working. Just stay with it, let that ball travel. Outer part of the plate, head level, drives it right down the right field line.
Ibar 1 for 2 with a single and a fly ball to left. Takes a strike. Texas at Arizona. Interleague game. 1-1. That game's in the 8th. Here it's 4-1 Angels. Giants leading the Dodgers 4-1 up at AT&T Park. Everything else a final, including the Bengals beating the Packers 16-10.
Milwaukee finally scoring some runs. Yet they gave up 16.
RJ Alvarez getting ready. Ron Renicky might be in some serious trouble there. Milwaukee. Mike Redmond might be in some trouble in Miami. 2 balls, 1 strike. Marlins lost again tonight. Weren't the Marlins one of the teams picked to?
A lot of the experts were picking them to in the World Series. You know, we are extremely early in the season, but
go back to the Royals last year when the Angels were there. There was rumblings as far as Ned Yost being ousted there, based on the talk shows and the like.
I think the club had a players only meeting. Well, it might have been in Chicago. Raul Ibanez was part of that meeting. From that point forward, they got hot, and Ned Yost all of a sudden started making all the right decisions.
You're a genius. You win, you're a genius. Just ask Jim Leyland. 2-2. Called strike 3. That was not a strike as far as Fox Tracks is concerned, but he gets rung up. 2 outs.
Backdoor breaking ball around the plate and off the plate. And that's one of those pitches as a hitter, very difficult to even make a pass at, because you read it off the plate from the get-go and then tries to wrap around the back part of the plate and didn't even get that.
8 of the 14 strikeouts combined in this ball game have been looking. There's Cal Gill 0 for 2. Pop up and a punch out for Colin. Start tonight in left field. A run, 3 hits, an error, 5 left on for Oakland. 4 runs, 7 hits, no errors, and 4 left on for the Angels. Freese standing at second with a 1-out double. In the air toward right center field. Cody Ross moving over. Gentry, center fielder, calls him off. Puts it away, and the Angels are done here in the 5th. We'll head to the 6th here at the Big A. 4-1 Halos.
C.J. Cron looked like it was going to be an inning 5-4-3 double play called out, and then Mike Scioscia, the replay checked and ruled safe, and it was a huge decision by Scioscia because eventually with 2 on, Johnny Giavitello on a 3-2 count got a fastball and it left the building.
Butler, Ross, and Lowry here in the 6th inning. Hector Santiago's allowed 3 hits. Butler has 2 of them, a single in the 1st inning, a home run in the 3rd. Popped him up. Eric Ibar taking charge. 1 down.
Got inside with a fastball. The home run Butler had his last at bat. He got his arms extended. This time Hector did not allow him to do so. Also got in a better count. He was in good hitters counts, Butler, first 2 at bats.
Cody Ross, the right fielder, is 0 for 2. Cesar Ramos, Vinny Pastano getting ready. One ball, 1 strike. Jared Weaver and Sonny Gray will go at it on Wednesday. As As Ross lines with the left, Calgill is there. 2 outs. Then Thursday, it's a 4 o'clock start. Jesse Chavez is going up against C.J. Wilson. And folks, the Angels take on the Rangers on Saturday at 6:05. Join us for a pregame ceremony featuring all 3 Angels MVPs. All fans in attendance will receive an MVP collectible card set while supplies last. Purchase your tickets today at the Angels Stadium ticket office or at angels.com. 2 outs, nobody on, and here is Brett Laurie, the third baseman. I hope that T.J. Wilson taking notes here of what Hector Santiago is doing. And when you look at the splits, the ace of Dono against left-handed pitching here to start the year. Down the line, nice play by Freese to the backhand. Third baseman throws out another.
Wow, long throw. Powerful throw from David Freese on the backhand. 1-2-3 inning for Hector Santiago dealing.
This Athletics Angels Series sponsorship is presented by Chevrolet. 4-1, Angels lead it. Hector Santiago, solid 6 innings. Got the hoodie on, so you figure that he might be done. Bottom of the 6th, bottom 3rd coming up for the Angels.
Excellent outing for Hector.
Crone, Inetta, and Giavatello. A.J. Crone, 1 for 2. Fielder's choice and a single. He's also scored a run. Drew Pomeranz at 97 pitches, 6 strikeouts, 1 walk. He's allowed 7 hits, including 1 home run. That was Johnny Giavatello that got the scoring started in the 2nd. The Angels sending 9 men to the plate in that 2nd inning. Two balls, 2 strikes. Last pitch of 89 for Pomeranz. Good line from the fastball. Good breaking ball early on. Breaking ball shot out to right center field. A base hit. And that might go all the way to the wall, and it will. Crone on his way to 2nd. And for this is a leadoff double for Crone, his 2nd of the season.
Boy, that's 2 good swings in a row for C.J. Crone going the other way. Relaxed swing, Hands fluid through his swing. Good shot to right center field.
Bob Melvin's out. He's going to the bullpen. We have ourselves the first pitching change. It's in the 6th. The Angels up 4-1. Angels baseball is brought to you by Mercury Insurance. On a mission to save you money. Log on to mercuryinsurance.com to get a fast, free quote and see how much you could save. And by Hyundai. Great deals on amazing cars are going on now at your Hyundai dealer. Visit buyhyundai.com today. High above the Big A, gorgeous shot. Mr. Pomerantz is done for the night after 5 innings plus 1 batter. Quite a few pitches thrown. 100 to be exact. 8 hits, 4 runs, 3 earned. Responsible for the man at second base. It's our in and out, who's in, who's out. Pomerantz is done, and it's former Angel farmhand R.J. Alvarez on in relief.
Yeah, good fastball. He's 92 to 96. Slider, changeup.
Alvarez pitching in his 8th game this year with Oakland. No record of 5.40 ERA. 8 1/3 innings, 5 hits. 5 runs, all earned, 7 strikeouts, 2 walks. Facing Chris Iannetta with C.J. Cron at second. And the first one's in there for a strike. Alvarez, a 3rd-round pick by the Angels back in 2012 out of Florida Atlantic University. That's in Boca Raton. He grew up in West Palm Beach. And was part of the 6-player trade with the San Diego Padres last year that netted the Angels Houston Street. Minor league pitcher Trevor Gott. And then he got flipped himself in December as part of the Derek Norris trade. Going to San Diego, and of course RJ and others.
Well, Chris Iannetta's got to hit the ball to the right side of the infield at the very least here.
In and out of the glove, but close enough to where Cron cannot advance. Iannetta 1 for 2 with a base hit and a ground out. Kalo scoring 4 times to the 2nd. Billy Butler putting the A's on the board in the 3rd with his 2nd home run of the season. All zeros since then for both sides. Breaking ball is in there. 2-2.
Pretty tough arm angle for a right-handed batter against him. There's a little 3/4 delivery.
Did pitch in 10 games last year with the Padres. No record of a 1.13 ERA. Full count. It's Giavotella on deck. Back to the top of the order. Pineda goes down swinging. 1 out. Crone unable to advance. Brings up Giavotella. This is what he did back in the 2nd inning.
A solid at bat. 3-2 count. High fastball. 3-run home run to left field. Sighted run around the bases, and when he got to that dugout also. First career Angel home run for Giavotella.
He lines this one to left. There's a base hit. Crone is going to be waved in. Marcana comes up firing. The throw to the plate is not in time. The safe call by Marty Foster makes it 5-1 Angels. And we'll see if Melvin is going to come out and check this one out.
Wonder if he got his hand on the plate before the tag was applied. Bob Melvin looking in. We'll see it here.
Now the question is, did he apply the tag on the back?
Marty Foster was right there with a great angle. Pretty good throw. Also, it's up the third base line to make it more difficult for Crone to be able to get in there.
Key word is definitive, and Bob Melvin is not going to challenge it.
Great slide by C.J. Crone to get the hand in before the tag, even if it did get the back of him. It's a great slide.
This is where the replay rules, especially the play at the plate. Melvin could have come out and argued, and asked for a review. And hypothetically, it gets overturned. Then Mike Scioscia could have gone out there and asked for a review as to whether or not Fegley actually gave Crone the alley to home plate.
Luckily, none of that happened.
Yeah. That's just in our minds.
What a game for Giavotella.
Yeah, 4 RBIs. New career high for Johnny. 7 runs batted in now in the season. Cole Calhoun with a couple of hits. That run, by the way, gets charged to Pomerantz, and the book closed on him. 5 runs, 4 earned in his 5+ innings. Giavotella's previous high in RBIs in a game, 3. Done it twice. Once last year. Prior to that, back in 2011. Both as a member of the Royals. Santiago looking on, done after 6 innings, 1 run, 3 hits, 8 strikeouts, and 3 walks. Took something off.
And we talked about Hector in the pregame show as far as landing in that lane, be more consistent, keeping his shoulders square to the plate. He did that pretty much the entire game. Great effort by Hector. 8 punch-outs in 6 innings. Boy, has he thrown well in his career against Oakland. That's the last 5 starts.
This one back up the middle. That hits the second base umpire, Mike Winters. It'll go as a base hit. The crew chief, hopefully he's all right on the old Mitch Kupchak. He's waving it off. But that was a finder.
Said he's all right. This baseball was hit extremely well, too, again by Calhoun.
The phone call home tonight might be at a slightly higher octave for Mike Winters. all you can do is smile.
Yes.
You certainly can't rub it. Here's Trout. 2 on and 1 out. Trout's over 2. Wild pitch. And that'll advance the runners. Giamatello ends up at third. Calhoun at second.
Clearly Alvarez overthrown here, trying to show his former teammates. He still has great stuff.
Trout is going to be intentionally walk here, and that Albert will come up.
He's on your typical 4 wide ones here. So with force.
There's some guys that can't.
No.
We saw what Kevin Jepsen
do it. Yes.
Fire one over the. Was that against Oakland too? That was here. I know that.
Yeah, it was here. And sometimes we just try to guide the baseball and you throw it away.
So bases loaded. Giamatello at third, Calhoun at second, and it's Mike Trout at first. It was 5-1 Angels here in the 6th inning.
Albert with 12 career grand slams.
Breaking ball on the outside corner for a strike. Albert is 0 for 3 tonight. Strikeout, reached on an error in the 2nd and grounded out of the 5th. Breaking ball gets away from Begley. Here comes Giamatello, and he will score 6-1 on the wild pitch.
2nd of the inning. And going against his former team, overthrowing. Missing by quite a bit. It's in the left-hander's batter's box.
Infield in for Oakland. One. Boy, good rip at a 95-mile-per-hour fastball. 1-2. Pretty good giddy up for Alvarez, especially from that 3/4 arm angle.
Yeah, I remember him throwing in spring training a couple times. He's got really good stuff. Just amped up, overthrowing right now, though.
Calhoun at third, Trout at second. 1-2. Albert strikes out, swing came right back after him. 2 down. So they'll be up to David Freese to add to the Angels' 6-1 lead. Freese 1 for 3, doubled his last time up. This one fouled back, heads up Ray Fosse. Oh, that almost got the visiting stage manager next door killed. Oh my.
We can laugh now, but that wasn't going to be funny.
Wow. JR.
See, he moved away from us and over the other side. That's what happened.
Freese lines one to center. There's a base hit. Calhoun will score, as will Trout. Gentry bobbles the baseball. Freese in at second. And the Angels opening it up here in the 6th.
Well, you can see the swings and the enthusiasm after a good swing by the Angel hitters throughout this game. David Freese there, we saw earlier with Gianvatella in that dugout. It's good to see. Well, right down the heart of the plate. What a swing. That's back-to-back. Just great swings by David Freese to double down the right field line. And this hard single up the middle that goes off the glove of Gentry. 2 runs are going to score anyhow.
Well, David gets credited with 2 runs batted in, moves to second on the error by Gentry, second error of the night for Oakland. And here's Ibar, 8th man to bat. Eric 1 for 3, singled into second.
Hyundai key to this game. A little motley crew to get them rolling. Kickstart my heart. Certainly has done that with the offense tonight. Great swings throughout. Hector go out and just challenge the hitters with some early support.
A 4-run second and a 4-run 6th. Tapper at the plate. 0-2 count. Three of these 4 runs charged to Alvarez. This is line to left, a base hit. Freese is going to be waved in. Canna bobbles the baseball, and Ibar will stop at first. It is 9-1.
Well, we talked about it in the opening, the need to just spread out the offense, be more consistent. That has definitely been the case in this game. Some real good swings going the other way, using the middle of the field, and some quality at bats getting into good hitters' counts. Canna unable to make the play. Over the years, we're used to seeing a different left fielder out there with that strong throwing arm. And Cespedes, glad he's not there.
No.
What was it last year, that throw all the way down by the foul pole in the
Alec
air?
Kendrick.
Yes.
At the plate.
Wow.
Cal Gill 0 for 3. Ibar, by the way, gets credited with his 3rd run batted in of the year. That's off the plate. And there's no action in the Oakland bullpen. Ground ball to the right side. That might sneak through. Sogard will get it, but it goes an infield base hit. Ibar keeps running to third. The throw gets away from Laurent. Eric's going to try to score. The throw to the plate is not in time as it gets away. Calgill keeps on running, then slams on the brakes as he was looking for the Little League home run.
That would have been an all-timer. Boy, some aggressive base running. Eric might have to take a breather now in that dugout. Slow roller. Sogard gets it, fires it in. Play at third, but gets away from Brett Laurie. Ibar sliding in. And Cowgill was right behind him, thought about coming in himself. All this with a baseball fielded by the second baseman in the outfield grass.
There should be 2 errors. One for Simeon and one on Laurie, I would imagine. Here's Crone. Fastball down and away. This inning started with C.J. Crone, and he doubled to start off this rally. They're calling it just 1 error on the play, and now it is on Simeon, the shortstop. 2 balls and 1 strike. Third error of the night for Oakland. Very uncharacteristic of an A's team. At least against the Angels, seem to always play very good, solid defense.
I'm really liking the swings throughout this entire game by the Angel hitters. Just using the whole field. Ibar hit his baseball the other way. Giavitello, of course, hit it was way out, a 3-run home run, but also an RBI single.
Outside, full count.
Freeze with that 2 RBI single to center field. Calhoun's had a huge game himself. 3 hits, 2 runs scored. Generally, that's a good sign when he scores 2 or more runs. They always win, the Angels.
The Angels have matched the season high in runs and hits in a game. 3-2 on the way. And Crone goes down swinging, and that'll do it for the Halos. But they hang a 6th spot on the Oakland Athletics. We'll head to the 7th. It's 10-1 Halos. A full night of NHL and NBA playoff action, as well as all the highlights from the Diamond, plus all the latest rumors out of New York, the upcoming NFL draft. You can see Fox Sports Live tonight at 11 on Fox Sports 1, or see it simulcast right here on Fox Sports West. Vinny Pistano comes into the ball game here. The Angels up 10-1 as we start the top of the 7th inning. Takes over for Hector Santiago, who gave up a run on in 6 innings, 3 hits allowed, 8 strikeouts and 3 walks. Bottom third of the order for Oakland here in the seventh. Fegley, Simeon, and Sogard. Fegley, the catcher, 1 for 2, singled in the second inning. That's 2 balls and no strikes. Pistano pitching the 6th game. 4 2/3 innings, 2 hits, 4 strikeouts, and 3 walks. This one's skied foul and out of play. Two-one pitch. Foul and out of play. That's up and in. Full count.
Pistano's done a real nice job since coming over to the Angels. With that good fastball, 90-92 range, but a real good swing and miss slider.
3-2 chopper foul toward the dugout. So we'll reset and do it again. Down in the reach for that one. Spoils it. Vinny last pitched in Sunday's game against Houston. 2/3 of an inning in that one. 2 strikeouts and an intentional walk. That's out toward left center field. Not very deep. Cowgill is there. 1 out.
And now it's time for the Carl's Jr. Sports Update. 3 top teams in the NL trying to keep their win streaks together. The Dodgers have a 7-game winning streak, but they're down right now in the 8th inning, 4-1 to San Francisco. The Mets win again, now 9 in a row. The Cardinals had won 5 in a row, lost tonight, and 13 lefties on the mound start games tonight, including the 2 here, the Big A. A lot of lefties, the southpaws.
Oh, and 2. Simeon, the shortstop, walked in the second, struck out looking in the 4th.
The Mets 11-3 to start the year.
Yeah. Kansas City, same thing, 11-3. They came back. They were down. They were trailing it in the 7th. They're after 7 innings. Big Minnesota 6-5. Ground ball to short. This one off the end of the bat. A funny spin to it. 2 down. Brings up Sogard. Texas leading Arizona now in the 9th inning. Chase Field. Phoenix 7-1. And Seattle still leading Houston 3-2. Game's in the 8th. Eric Sogard 0 for 2. Takes inside. You mentioned overall the performance by the Angels hitters tonight much better. A little more consistent tonight. We say close to 45% of the runs that the Angels have put on the board this year have been via the long ball, so they needed to kind of get better with the situational hitting. Tonight, the Angels 4 for 11 with men in scoring position. The long ball helped. That got the Angels on the board back in the second inning, courtesy of Johnny Giavitello.
I think the aggressive base running, too. You're seeing some of the errors in the outfield. Gentry kind of out in left field because of that pressure trying to take the extra base. You have to do those things also.
3-1. Sogard hits one out to center. John back a couple of steps. Pistano with 2 fly ball outs, 1 ground out. Gets through the 7th. Stretch time here at the Big A. Angels on top. Sonetta set to lead things off for the Angels here in the bottom of the 7th. It is 10-1 Halos. Just one change. Sam Fold takes over at center field. Craig Gentry moves over to left. So Mark Canha's night comes to an end. RJ Alvarez back out. Inetta, Giavitello, and Calhoun here in the 7th for the Halos. RJ Alvarez charged with 5 of those runs in the 6th inning, 4 earned. Just fouls it off to the right, 0-2. Inetta 1 for 3, single back in the 2nd. Watch out. Boy, dropped down a little bit, ran that fastball up and in. 1-2.
Well, when you drop down like that at that arm angle and your elbow drops even further, that fastball is going to run even further in. It's a right-handed batter, especially when you're looking away. Looking away, fastball way up and in.
Cute foul. Down low. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Give you a little misinformation there. Canha actually moved over to third, so Brett Laurie is out of the game. Sam Fold will bat in that spot. Two. Down low. Full count. Alvarez picked up 3 strikeouts in that 6th inning, but also allowed 5 hits. Defense let him down as well. 1 walk. That was the intentional walk to Trout. Also had a couple of wild pitches. Jeez. Another one up and in. That is ball 4. Nothing intentional about it, just a little scary, that's all.
Especially when you're looking at him with the plate. Both those pitches in that sequence extremely close, especially that arm angle. So we're going to get some movement down in the Oakland bullpen now.
40 pitches thrown by the right-hander. Giavitello takes ball 1. Career night for him. New career high in RBIs with 4. 3-run shot in the 2nd inning. RBI single in the 6th. He's also scored twice. But Young's going to go out there and give the bullpen an opportunity to get loose. Fernando Abad getting ready. Good rip at a fastball.
Well, he's all over the fastball tonight. The 2nd inning, he's really on this fastball from Pomerantz. A 3-2 fastball. Pomerantz knew it right away. Giavitello, his first career Angel home run.
His 5th career home run. 2 balls, 1 strike. Fegley's been busy behind the plate tonight.
He's had to block a lot of breaking pitches, both from Alvarez and Pomerantz.
Two. But both starting pitchers struck out 3 batters in the 1st inning. Hector's took a little bit longer as far as pitches because he had a walk and a single mixed in there as well. The Angels got the scoring started in the 2nd. Giavitello fouls this one back. Heads up, Gooby. That just busted our TV monitor.
Yes, it did.
Look at that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Can you pull that up just to show the folks at home what the...
Yeah, it never looked better.
See if our camera can pan to its left. Look at that.
That's a good look.
Done. Yeah. Gooby, you made a lot more money than me in your career, big guy. That's coming out of your check.
Look at this. This is slightly bent right now.
Yeah. That ricocheted off the wall there.
Yeah.
And then right onto the monitor.
Yeah,
that's some high quality TV right there.
Yeah, that's long gone right now.
Yeah. Foul back.
This went straight back and came back here firm.
I thought that was coming to you the whole time. You know that? Just another day in paradise.
You know, this, hey, line drive, hey, what no? It's up the middle. That's what the center fielder's there for.
We both saw plenty of those. Line shot back up the middle. Oh,
this must somebody else
must
field
be
it.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
That's going to be it for R.J. Alvarez as Bob Melvin's going to come out. Back-to-back walks for the right-hander. Boy, a rough outing for the former Angel farmhand. And Fernando Abad will be called upon here. Pitching change. We're in the 7th. Angels on top 10-1. Forester or go to Subaru.com to learn more. It's 10-1 Angels here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Legendary Patrick O'Neill coming into the booth asking us why we didn't catch it. So tonight we're just going to take a fungo and just hit baseballs at him in front of the set down underneath the hats tonight, too. And ask him why
That baseball came in here extremely fast.
Yeah, Fernando Abad taking over. 6th game this year, 0-1 record. He's allowed an earned run in 4 1/3. And he'll come into this ball game with 2 men on base and Cole Calhoun coming to the plate. Cole's had a nice game tonight, 3 for 4 with 3 singles, 2 of which were against the left-hander Drew Pomeranz, the starter. Big rip at that first pitch fastball.
Well, he's had some great swings in this game. I mentioned coming into the game, Pomeranz had not given up a hit against a left-handed batter. Cole with 2 hits against him. And eventually another hit against Alvarez for a 3-hit performance.
Breaking ball, sky to right center. Fold is back at the wall. Door! Big fly for Cole Calhoun. Make it a baker's dozen. 13-1 Halos.
Talk about getting a good swing. Left-handed pitcher. Long gone. For Cole Calhoun. Second home run. This is a 4-hit performance. 3 runs scored for Cole. Abad, like a breaking ball that has stayed at the heart of the plate. Not a lot of spin to that pitch. And Cole didn't miss it. They're the ones we like, those home runs. We talked about that even in a pregame hit.
Trout pops one up toward the A's dugout, and Begley, I don't know if he was waiting for Vogt to get there, but never got rid of the mask. Somewhat tentative at going after it. It's an 0-1 count.
going a long way, dealing with that on-deck circle pad. Usually right away as a catcher, if you're going to make a play on a pop-up, you're getting rid of that mask.
Cole Calhoun with his 4th career 4-hit game. Trout takes a strike and it's 0-2. That is a career high for him, matching a career high. Eight RBIs on the season. Trout cues this one up the line. That's going to come back fair, or is it? No, very close. That ball had a lot of spin, then hit the cut of the grass, and Vogt did the right thing, waiting for it.
Well, usually everything rolls back into fair territory when it rolls down the line, first base line or third base line.
Just added to the many things we've seen tonight.
Weaver at this point sitting in the dugout going, okay, all right, you guys are hot. Save some for tomorrow night.
1-2. Tough matchup tomorrow night. Sonny Gray on the mound. Good pitching matchup overall. Weaver looking for his first win. Two balls, two strikes. Those 3 runs, of course, charged to Alvarez. Gives up 8 runs, 7 earned. An inning plus 2 batters. Trout fouls that fastball straight back. I misspoke. 7 runs, 6 earned for Alvarez. That is hooked in the left, a base hit, and more. Gentry cuts it off, throws it to second, but it's an easy double for Trout. 3rd of the season.
Amazing thing about that play, base hit, double by Trout. At that point, the Angels had scored 13 runs, everyone in the lineup with a hit except for Trout and Pujols. Yet scoring 13 runs, that's when you want to see other guys doing the things to be able to score runs. Trout under control for that double. On base 3 times though tonight for Mike Trout. A couple of walks, runs scored.
Albert hits one up the middle, but Sogard was shading him that way. 1 out. Trout over to third. Brings up Freese. A couple of hits for him tonight, a double and a single. Those 2 guys tonight, Calhoun and Giannicello, combining for 7 runs batted in. The 9th and leadoff spot in the order. Taylor Featherston comes up and is batting for David Freese now. Taylor 0 for 5, still looking for that first big league hit. Off speed, a little bit high. Saw action in his hometown of Houston as a defensive replacement late for Freese. Two balls, no strikes. Featherston, a TCU product. And that is on the corner. Taylor taken by the Cubs in the Rule 5 pick, as a Rule 5 pick this offseason from the Rockies, and then traded to the Angels. 3-1. Played Double-A last year at 260 with 16 home runs, 57 runs batted in. Featherston play a couple of the infield positions. Trout over third. 3-1 now. In the air to right. He'll pick up his first big league RBI. Cody Ross makes the catch. Trout will score. And it's 14-1 Angels. Congrats to Taylor Featherston on that RBI.
A lot of fans giving an ovation coming off the field. Congrats on that one. High fives in a dugout.
So 2 outs to the bases clear, and here's Ibar. 2 for 4 game for Eric. No balls, 2 strikes. The Angels touched 14 runs last year. Once, that was their season high. May 4th against Texas. That was here in this ballpark. A game that was, check that, gave up 14 runs in that one, pardon me. Season high last year, 15 runs against Texas. Guess who started that game for the Angels? Hector Santiago.
It's all about pitching on the right night.
Fold will put this one away. The Angels tack on 4 more runs, 3 of which came off the bat of Cole Calhoun. 2nd of the season. We'll head to the 8th. All Angels tonight. At bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At bat, the up to the moment, at any moment with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, statcasts, and more. Get MLB.com at bat for your smartphone or tablet today. 14-1. Angels lead it here at the top of the 8th inning. That is a hardcore fan. He's been around for a long time in this ballpark.
And this game.
This game specifically. Cam Bedrosian called up before the game Effort tomorrow was optioned out. The Angels looking for some bullpen depth. Campbell pitched the 8th inning. Pistano pitched the 7th. The 1-2-3 7th. Bedrosian pitched in 4 games with Salt Lake. 8 shutout innings, 6 hits, no walks, 13 strikeouts.
That's the thing. No walks and a lot of strikeouts.
Gentry fouling off the first pitch. 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts tonight. Breaking ball got him looking. Boy, Gentry is now 0 for 22 to start the season. The breaking ball from Cam.
Real good breaking ball. It's under control. Snaps the breaking ball. Inside part of the plate. That's 3 looking for Gentry tonight.
Canna, the starting left fielder and now third baseman, is 0 for 2. A strikeout, a fly ball to center, and a walk. A couple of defensive changes for the Angels. Give that to you just a sec. This one grounded towards short. Ibar to his left. Spin move. High throw. Pulls Butera off the bag. So Canna will reach on the infield base hit. That's one of the defensive replacements. Butera at first. Featherston stays in the game over at third.
Tough play for Ibar with that strong throwing arm. Spin around, but the high throw. Canna getting down the line quickly. Able to avoid the tag.
Stephen Vogt fouling off the first pitch. 0 for 2 tonight. A hit for Oakland, just the 4th tonight. Dudley Butler has 2 of them. Begley, the catcher, has the other. It was a base hit in the 2nd. Cued foul. No balls and 2 strikes. First one out of the strike zone for Bedrosian. Oh, just out in front of that one, pulls it foul.
Yeah, just slightly. Now it's time for In the Driver's Seat, brought to you by Kia. Johnny Giavatello. What a game he has had tonight. 2 for 3. Career high 4 RBI, 3-run home run. And that 2nd inning, his first as an Angel. That big 2nd inning 3-run home run from Giavatello.
Breaking ball, just missed. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Butler's on deck. count. Bedrosian got into 17 games for the Angels last year. 0-1 and a 6.52 ERA. First round pick back in 2010. And that is a walk. Oh, gets by Iannetta. And Canna ends up at second. So 2 on, 1 out. Butler coming up.
Pretty surprised he threw a breaking ball in that spot. He's got a good fastball. Especially with the lead like that and a good fastball that he has.
Butler looks at a fastball for a strike.
Good candidate for a ground ball double play here.
Two for 3 game as he shoots one out to right field. Calhoun makes the catch and gets it back into the infield. 2 outs.
And Cole's been everywhere tonight, playing solid defense in the outfield, crushing the baseball. 4-hit performance, including a 3-run home run.
Two outs and 2 on now. Cody Ross coming up. 14-1. Halos on top here in the 8th. This one down to center. Trout is there. And we will head to the bottom of the 8th inning. The Angels leading at 14-1. It's bottom of the 8th inning, 14-1. Angels on top, and with the way the game has played out tonight, Bob Melvin's going to his bench to get some outs here. Ike Davis, he's first baseman, come in to pitch.
Well, he made some nice plays at first base last night.
Yeah.
Now I'll see what he has on the mound.
Fernando Abad went 1 inning and gave up 2 runs.
Willie Butler and Scott Kazmir just checking out the position player on the mound. That's 86-mile-an-hour fastball.
You say that with some sort of amazement.
I was way better than my fastball at the end of my career. I know that.
0-2 count.
88.
I don't see any pitching logs for Ike.
No, I was searching.
Breaking ball, chopped over to third. That's Canna. Calgill retired for the first out.
Designated hitter, number 24, C.J. Brown.
It's how Sean Doolittle started his career, right? First baseman, outfielder.
Yeah.
It's worked out well for the lefty, although he's on the DL.
He's 86, 87, 88. Pitched at Arizona State.
Sharply hit toward short. Simeon with a nice play, diving to his left, and Crone is retired for the second out.
Simeon did a nice job of ranging to the glove side. What a play. Got some talent at that shortstop position. Mike Davis was 4-1 with 4 saves as a junior at Arizona State.
Two balls and no strikes. The old 2-out,
2-out,
2-0.
2-0. See, it gets
it happens to everyone. The old letdown. Netta picked up a single back in the second. He's 1 for 3. Walked and scored, leading off the 7th. Drew Pomerantz gave up 5 runs, 4 earned in his 5 innings. R.J. Alvarez, facing his former team, the Angels, went an inning, gave up 7 runs, 6 earned. This one pulled to third. Canna has it. 3 ground ball outs, and Ike Davis will walk into the dugout and say, guys, it's just
That's how you do it.
Throw strikes and get ground outs. We'll head to the ninth, 14-1 Angels. Down Angels Live postgame presented by your SoCal Mazda dealers. Patrick O'Neill will field fungos underneath the hat.
I was going to say, you could hit some fly balls at him.
He and Jose Mota, along with Alex Curry, will bring you everything that happened in this game. And there was a lot that happened in this game, folks.
A lot. Some great swings, which was really good to see. Talked about it in the opening. Relying a lot on the home runs. That was certainly a big part. Giavitello with a 3-run home run. Cole Calhoun with a 3-run home run. But a lot of other good hits throughout the game. 14 runs on 15 hits by the Halos tonight.
Cam Bedrosian out for his second inning of work. Sam Full, Josh Phegley, Marcus Semien. 6, 7, and 8 for the A's. The Angels looking to wrap up what would be their first home win of the season as Sam Full delivers a leadoff single.
Catcher number 19, Josh Phegley.
And here comes Phegley. The A's catcher 1 for 3 with a single back in the second. Breaking ball, it's 0-2.
So a good slider and curveball.
Swing and a miss. Down goes Phegley, and there's out number 1.
Shortstop number 10, Marcus Semien.
There's Marcus Semien. Shortstop. Hector Santiago would pick up his second win of the season. Drew Pomeranz would suffer his second loss. Fastball in there, 94.
Cam at some point is going to be a closer at the major league level. He has excellent stuff.
So fouled back. Count remains at 0-2. One and two. Mike Davis with 3 ground ball outs. The first A's position player to pitch since Frank Mancino, July 18, 2000. Of course, Ike's dad pitched in the big leagues. And a sky to left. Cowgill is there. 2 down. So Eric Sogard will bat with 2 outs here in the ninth. The Angels for that first win, get that goose egg off the board as far as home victories.
It's the perfect game for the Angels when you think about it. Hector threw the ball exceptionally well. Bullpen very good as usual. Offense there, defense there. Some big home runs, some solid hits up the middle. Scioscia's got to be real happy with this performance tonight.
Sogard hits one to second base. Giavitello to Butera, light that baby up as the Angels take game 2 against the A's. 14-1 the final.
What a job by Cole Calhoun, Johnny Giavitello. Some big nights. Cole with 4 hits. Giavitello career high 4 RBI performance. Certainly a lot of positives. Good swings throughout. Hector Santiago, 6 outstanding innings pitched, 8 punch-outs. Continues to throw the ball so well against the Oakland A's.
Hector now 2-1 on the season. Mentioned Pomerantz is now 1-2 as he takes the loss. Season high in runs and hits for the Angels with 14 and 15 respectively. And overall a very good performance by this Angels offense. Trout and Pujols held to just 1 hit combined tonight.
I just love that up the middle approach. We talked about that at the beginning of the game, how important that is, because when you get those mistakes on the inside part of the plate, you can hit the ball out of the ballpark. Both home runs, 3-run home runs.
Well, it was a big game for Johnny Giavotella. The Angels' second baseman, a career high with 4 runs batted in. He's down to the field with Alex Curry. Alex?
Thank you, Victor. Johnny, a big night for this team, your first home win of the season. What was clicking for this club for this offensive explosion here?
You know, the biggest thing that we didn't do was panic. The last 2 weeks, this team has so much talent, and for us to come out tonight and have a big win like tonight, score, 14 runs, I mean, it was huge for us. There's a lot of confidence in this locker room, and there's no doubt we're going to go a long way this season.
You kind of sparked this offense tonight with your first home run as an Angel. How good did it feel to get that one out of the way and do it here at the Big A?
That was unbelievable, especially give this team a 3-0 lead. We're kind of having trouble scoring runs the last couple of weeks, but to come out tonight and have a big win was great for us.
And a 4 RBI game for you, a career high. Yeah. How do you keep this momentum going into tomorrow's game?
Just having confidence in what we do, not changing anything, but going out playing hard, and good things happen.
Congratulations on a great win and your first home run of the season.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
What a game for the Halos here tonight, winning for a final of 14-1. Don't go anywhere, because up next on Angels Live, Patrick O'Neill and Jose Mota will break it all down right here on Fox Sports West.